Hello, I'm John Krieg, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick forearm routine with our client here, Susie, who has been suffering recently from some forearm pain. So, see what we can do. First off, on most people, especially someone like Susie here, who is a bodybuilder, most of what we're doing during a workout or something is clenching your fist. And what that does is these muscles here, your flexors, the ones on the back of the extensors, will get really, really tight and start pulling on these back muscles in such a way that they will actually feel a lot tighter than they are. In fact, you'd call them taut. And I'm just going to show you a technique or two on how I personally tackle these problems. So, yeah, you can feel. Do you feel that, Susie? How tight this is in here? Now first we're going to want to soften the area a little bit so it's not digging into her flesh. Let's do some long but yet firm strokes. Let's try to soften this area up. And notice that I'm trying to keep the arm straight, because as soon as you bend your arm and are trying to work it, it then puts all of these muscles here on slack, because most, if not all, of your extensor muscles attach up to your inner elbow that is actually on the farther up bone, your humerus, as opposed to attaching to your forearm bones. So when you keep it straight, it forces them to stay tight in a place, and the work will be much more effective. Grasp the wrist, and I just start shaking. And what this does, especially when I'm pushing down in here, and Susie, I'm sure, can feel how intense this is. This is basically my technique for doing lots and lots of micro stretches. Every time I move the wrist, Susie can feel these muscles just stretching out in her arm. You know, this is not something you want to do necessarily at home without practice, because even an experienced hand like mine can easily go too deep, and you can already start to see the redness coming up, which is exactly what we want, because these chronically tight muscles of the extensors, they are, since they're so tight, they have a much harder time getting the nutrients that they need. So breaking up a little bit of tissue in order to have more nutrients come is a good thing. Back to some stretches. And then some actual pin and stretch. You want to contract the forearm muscles, which you do by doing this. Get all the, I always get right up by the attachments and pull just the opposite way. Want to be very careful with your fingers doing this, as you can easily tire out your hands if you're not doing it right. And there's a lot of muscles in here, and I'm trying to kind of evenly go across a bunch of them while keeping the arms mostly straight. Yeah, there we go. Feel those stretches, Susie? Yeah, they're intense.
Feels good though.
Excellent. And it'll feel even better later if this works. Yeah, and that is pretty much. You can do a little bit on the opposite side, although you don't really want to necessarily work the opposite side too hard, because if you're stretching out an already taut muscle, it is not good for it. Yeah, and that is the forearm, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.